Miriam's letter. It was an early morning. An old man was walking through the town. He wore a tattered cloak to shield his body from the bitter cold. The whole town was wrapped in deadly silence. Most of the inhabitants were still asleep. The old man shivered at times but plodded on till he came out of the town gate onto a straight road. On one side of the road was a row of trees, on the other side the town's public garden. At the end of the garden stood a handsome building. It was a newest style building. He saw the wooden arch of this building. The old man was filled with hope and joy. On the arch hung an old board with the newly painted letters "Post Office." The old man went in quietly and squatted on the veranda. The voices of 2 or 3 people busy with their routine work could be faintly heard through the wall.
Police Superintendent,
a voice called sharply. The old man stared at the sound, but he waited patiently. The clerk read out the name after name and flung the letters to the waiting postman. From long practices he had acquired great speed at reading out the titles and in flinging the letters out. In the midst of this procedure a jesting voice from inside called, "Coachman Ali?" The old man got up, raised his eyes to heaven in gratitude and stepping forward put his hands to the door. "Gokul Bai. You called out Coachman Ali's name, didn't you? Here I am. I have come for my letter."
"Yes. Who is there?"
asked the postmaster.
"An old man, sir, worries us every day for letters that never come,"
said the clerk to the postmaster. The old man went back to the bench on which he had been accustomed to sitting for 5 long years. Ali had been a clever hunter once. Not a day passed without Ali setting out with his gun. When Ali sighted the earth-brown partridge, almost invisible to the eyes of others, the poor bird was as good in his bag. His sharp eyes saw the hare crouching even when the dogs failed to see the creature cunningly hidden in the yellow-brown scrub. Ali's eyes would look out for the sight of his ears, and in the next moment it would be dead. Besides this, he would often go out for fishing with his friends. But in his later life, he left his old ways and took a new turn. His only daughter, Miriam, married and went off with a soldier to his regiment in Punjab. Last 5 years he had no message from his daughter. Now he understood the meaning of love and separation. He could no longer enjoy the sportsman's pleasure. He gave up hunting. He spent all his time reflecting upon his life and admiring the beauty of the lush green fields. He came to the conclusion that the whole universe is built up through the love and the grief of separation is inescapable. He sat down under a tree and wept bitterly. From that day he rose at 4 o'clock and went to the post office. In his whole life, Ali had never received a letter. But with a hope he was always the first to arrive. As Ali waited, peons would come for their letters. With great enthusiasm, they would exchange news from their various offices. One day, Ali was there as usual and did not move from his seat when the door was opened. "Police Commissioner," the clerk called out, and a young fellow stepped forward for the letters. "Superintendent," another voice called. Another peon came. At last they left for their respective office. Ali got up too and saluting the post office and left the place. Conversation between the postmaster and the clerk goes like this.
"That fellow, is he mad?"
"Who, sir?" "Oh yes. He has been here every day for the last 5 years. But he doesn't receive any letters.
Who does he think will have time to write a letter every day?
But he is a bit mad, sir. In the old days, he committed many sins, and maybe he had shed some blood within some sacred place and is paying for it.
Madmen are the strange people.
For several days Ali did not come to the post office. At last he came again, but it was a struggle for him to breathe, and on his face were clear signs of approaching end. That day he could not contain his impatience.
Master Sahib, have you a letter from my Miriam?
The postmaster was in a hurry.
What a pest you are, bye.
My name is Ali.
I know. But do you think we've got your Miriam's name registered?
Then please note it down, brother. It will be useful if a letter should come when I am not here.
Have you no sense? Get away. Do you think we are going to eat your letter when it comes?
Ali came out very slowly, turning after every few steps to gaze at the post office. His eyes were filled with tears of helplessness, for his patience was exhausted, even though he still had faith. Ali heard one of the clerks coming up behind him, and turned to him.
Brother.
Well.
Here, look at this. Don't look startled, they will be useful to you, and they can never be to me. But will you do one thing?
What?
What do you see up there?
Heaven.
Allah is there, and in his presence I am giving you this money. When the Miriam's letter comes, you must forward to me.
But where am I supposed to send it?
To my grave.
What?
Yes. It is true. Today is my last day, my very last, alas. And I have not seen Miriam. I have had no letter from her.
The clerk left Ali with the 5 gold coins in his pocket. Ali was never seen again. One day, trouble came to the postmaster. His daughter lay ill in another town, and he was anxiously waiting for news of her. The post was brought in, and all the letters piled on the table. Seeing an envelope of the color and shape he expected, the postmaster eagerly snatched it. It was addressed to Coachman Ali, and he dropped it as though it had given him an electric shock. He knew that at once that this was the letter the old man had been waiting for. It must be from his daughter Miriam, Lakshmi Das.
Yes, sir.
This is for your Coachman Ali. Where is he now?
I will find out, sir.
The postmaster did not receive his own letter all that day. He worried all night. He got up at 3 and went to sit in the office. When Ali comes at 4 o'clock, I will give him the letter myself. After spending a single night in suspense, anxiously waiting for news of his daughter, his heart brimming with sympathy for the old man who had in the same suspense for the past 5 years. At the stroke of 5 he heard a soft knock on the door. He felt sure it was Ali. He rose from his chair, his suffering father's heart recognizing another, and flung the door wide open. "Come in, brother Ali." Ali was leaning on a stick, and the tears were wet on his face as they had been when the clerk left him. Hearing the postmaster voice, the clerk came out. "I was speaking to Ali."
Old Ali is dead, sir. But give me his letter.
"What? But when? Are you sure?"
Yes, that is so. Ali died 3 months ago.
Miriam's letter was still lying near the door. Ali's image was still before his eyes. He could still not doubt the reality of the knock on the door and tears in Ali's eyes. He was perplexed. Had he really seen Ali? Had his imagination deceived him?